How many of you have no idea what a county court of law is? A few of you. Okay, so simple way to remember, you get a traffic ticket and you're in a JP court, you're in a little bit of trouble. If you commit a murder and you're in district court, you're in a whole lot of trouble. If you're in county court of law, I suppose you're in just the right amount of trouble. Okay? So we do assaults and DWIs and thefts and stuff like that. So my campaign slogan is let's get real. Okay? Real Democrat, real experience, real change. You shouldn't have to say in a Democratic primary that you're a real Democrat, but as you've heard, the person you're not going to hear from this evening is a Trump supporter, and we're both running to try to get him out of there. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I'm the former precinct chair over in Box 340 for the Democratic Party, and I'm about as true blue as you're going to find. Experience, I've been doing criminal trial law for 35 years. I've done thousands of cases. I just got through with a felony jury trial yesterday. I've done over 150 jury trials. I've been both a prosecutor and a defense lawyer. I've been in private practice now for about, am I done?
No.
Okay, all right. But the clock is ticking, real change, okay? There's a couple of 2 or 3 areas I want to focus on. I want to make sure, first off, that in DWI cases that we're catching people with problems before they become a real problem. I want to use bail bonds and compliance hearings to try to make sure if we've got somebody who's got a case pending or they've got somebody on probation and my time is out, I'll sneak this in later.
Okay, thank you. And just hand the mic to Mr. Just. 2-minute opening.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Thomas Just, and I am an Air Force veteran, and I've been practicing here in Hays County for a while. What's interesting is that this court does both criminal and civil. And I've been fortunate enough to have extensive experience in both. What I will also tell you is, you heard earlier, our county is growing by leaps and bounds. And our courts have not kept up. They were never designed for this level of volume. And so we need to modernize, and we need to get new tools to solve problems that have become we cannot ignore them anymore. We need new diversion courts. We need to provide Spanish interpreters. 1 in 5 people in Hays County speak Spanish. We have 0 interpreters on staff with court. We also need diversion courts for juveniles with mental health issues. We need a diversion court for young adults, 18 to 24. And the other thing is we need to fully fund the public defender's office. Right now, it's only partially funded. I also believe that we need a new generation of leadership. We need people with new ideas, fresh perspectives, and people ready to take on the work and treat this job as a full-time job and not something to retire into. It is also extraordinarily important that we remove the Republican, who is a lifelong Republican, trying to fool us that he is now a Democrat. He is not. That's the one thing that we both agree on. I was also the vice chair of the Hays County Democratic Party, and I was a board member of KBAD. I have a long history of being present and helping my community and showing up when it matters.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to move on now to the questions. So how will you handle making difficult decisions, even if there is external pressure, or if the decision will be unpopular? And give a solid example.
Well, I have made unpopular decisions for the last 30 years. I have a weird way of making a living. If I mess up, my customers get put in handcuffs and let off in prison cells. I walk into courtrooms where everybody assumes that I represent the bad guys. And yet I tell people that my job is simply to defend the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, one case, one person at a time. I don't feel external pressure. I just look at the person, the human being, and the problem that's in front of me and try to solve it and try to help that person.
Read the question for you. How would you handle making difficult decisions, even if there is external pressure or if the decision will be unpopular, and give a solid example?
I served as an intelligence analyst in the Air Force, and I had a position where we were going through a live op. It was a live mission. And I was the subject matter expert on 3 different positions that night. And there was a new watch commander, and they issued an illegal order to one of my airmen that I was supervising. I immediately said, belay that, and I pulled them aside, showed them the rules, said, no, you cannot do that. They said I was wrong. They went and reissued the order. I immediately said, you're relieved my airman, and I assumed his position. They repeated the order, and I said no. I was threatened with court-martial. I was threatened to be put in cuffs right then and there. And if I was wrong, that's what would have happened. Fortunately, the chief came and fixed the situation, and we got it sorted. And I was right. I was told I was right. And they were removed. The point of this question is that the rule of law is under attack. We have people in this state and this country who think the rules do not apply to them, and they are powerful, and they have been waging a war on the courts and on district attorneys. And this is a position where you need to know that someone who is threatened won't back down, that has a backbone, is not scared. I don't scare easy.
Okay, thank you. Hang on, we're going to mix it up a little bit and give you the next question also. So, Mr. Just, this court handles the Veterans Court and a primarily criminal docket. How does your experience apply to this position?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to do both criminal and civil. I have practiced criminal law. I have tried plenty of cases. This also supervises the Veterans Treatment Court, and I am a veteran. And I think that it would be extraordinarily powerful to have veterans in that Veterans Court dealing with somebody who's going to hold them accountable, who has marched in their same boots, who has stood in the same lines at the VA, who has dealt with the same PTSD, anxiety, and depression issues, and has come out the other side and made something of themselves. That's extraordinarily powerful. And I want to help them. It would be the honor and privilege of a lifetime to serve my brothers and sisters in that way.
Thank you. Mr. Friesenhahn, same question. This court handles the Veterans Court and a primarily criminal docket. How does your experience apply to this position?
Well, in addition to a Veterans Court, we actually have 5 diversion courts in this county. We have the Veterans Court. We have a pretrial intervention program that runs through the probation department. We have a pretrial diversion program that runs through the district attorney's office. We have a pretrial diversion program for young people with DWIs. And we have a mental health court. And I have had clients that have fallen into all 5 categories over the last 30 years. I've had veterans that have come back from Afghanistan and from Iran. But we do a good job here in this county with pretrial diversion, but where we fail people is on the back end. When we have people jump through the hoops to go through a pretrial diversion program with the hopes of getting their criminal records cleared, what we don't do at the back end is give them the information and the tools that they need to finish punching their ticket. If you go through a pretrial diversion program and you complete it, guess what happens to your criminal record? It still stays the same. There's still additional steps that you have to take, and we need to give people empower them, give them the information. How do you get into a court? How do you get free legal help to get your record expunged? I'll even give them the paperwork so they can do it themselves. I don't think it's fair to ask people to go through pretrial diversion programs, and I've seen this happen over and over again, to jump through all those hoops, get the ticket, and not be able to punch it. I think we are failing people on the back end, and that's what we need to remedy in this county.
Okay, thank you. And I think you were reading my notes because the next question is, what is your position on diversion courts? And Mr. Just.
I think we need more of them. We spend millions of dollars in this county sending inmates to jails and for-profit prisons across the state and across the country. Investing on the front end saves us an extraordinary amount of money on the back end. It's an investment also in our own public safety. Because if we don't take care of these people on the front end and give them a second chance and give them the help that they need, they'll be back. These people will return to the same exact situation that led them into the courts in the first place, without any new tools. It's no surprise that once you get into the criminal justice system, it is often a revolving door. We need to make the investment to get them the help on the front end and get them out of the system and keep them out.
Thank you. And to you, Mr. Friesenhahn, you get to extend your last answer a little bit. What is your position on diversion courts?
Love them. Okay, that's why, and I'm fortunate enough to live in a county where we have, as I mentioned, 5 of them. And here is one area where me and Thomas respectfully disagree with one another. I don't think we need to go invent another diversion court just to have another diversion court, just to say that we created a program. As I said, we've already have 5 diversion courts in this county. There's no age limits on them. I've gotten 40-something-year-old people into diversion courts. If you're 19 years old and you don't have a record, there's no reason why you shouldn't get into a diversion court in this county already. If you're a veteran and you can't qualify for Veterans Court because you're not eligible for VA services, we make it possible for you to go to the mental health court so they can provide services for you. I don't want to use taxpayer money and resources to create yet a 6th diversion court when we already have 5 that are doing the job. What I keep telling people is we're failing on the back end. It's not